be a collector and have that happen to you, like that's a gut punch, man. You've put all this time and money into it.
And it's incomplete to this day, and it just looks
hurts.
bad. Yeah,
it hurts as a collector, man. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Collecting Brothers. I'm John. This is Josh. Got a little bit of a special for you today here. As from the title, you can probably tell, we're talking about the death of 6-inch action figure collecting. Boom, boom, boom.
Ooh.
You suck! So, as you know, me and Josh are 6-inch action figure collectors. We collect multiple lines, Hasbro lines, we collect McFarlane lines. We love it all, right? Even if they skew a little smaller, like 8-inch figure arts, or a little bigger, like McFarlane. We love toys, and specifically that cinch scale. But we've kind of been seeing some red flags, let's call them.
Some bad trends, yeah.
Bad trends here, yeah, for sure. And within specifically our action figure collecting bubble. And other collectors have also started to see this. Maybe I feel like we just wanted to get this out there for you guys to help you kind of understand what is going on and what might be the future of this and where we go from here.
Yeah, and you guys have probably kind of seen some of these trends, and if you other trends you've seen, like let us know in the comments down below, like what other things that you might have noticed. The first thing I want to talk about is what kind of, I think everybody has seen, right? Everybody has seen what's been going on at the Ross. El Ross, dude. El Ross has just been exploding with Hasbro collectibles. And like John mentioned, I'm an avid action figure collector. Like, it's literally what I spent all my money on, and I've been doing it for actually over 10 years now. Because I kind of got really deep when Black Series came out, which was in 2013, and I haven't stopped since.
Right,
so for over 10 years, I've been going to like Ross's and for hunting for Hasbro action figures. And in those past 10 years, yes, during Christmas, there would be a couple figures from Hasbro, but there would be rare finds. Like, you'd be excited when you found a legend, you'd find one. Or, you'd find a Black Series. It was like, holy crap, like something slipped through the cracks and I found it.
Right.
It was not like something that everybody could get.
Yeah.
And this year, it's something that I've just never seen in my entire span of collecting at Ross. It's just, it's unheard of, the situation that's happening there. And it's not just like things that are in the main line. We're also seeing Hasbro Pulse exclusives, Amazon exclusives, Target exclusives, literally exclusives from all retailers. And it's jarring and it's really scary for me because I don't want the 6-inch hobby to die, but it's looking like that. And another issue is that with collecting action figures, whether we like it or not, a lot of the money that goes into this hobby is driven from FOMO and exclusives.
True.
And it's just this is the truth. And so when these things happen and exclusives are no longer exclusives and exclusives are no longer rare, people start to say, why am I spending extra money on exclusives? And they just feel like, even me, I felt as a collector and a consumer, I felt a little like unnerved that this was happening, because it's like, this shouldn't be like where I'm a collector and buying exclusives.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds wrong, but like, not that I want to be rewarded for it, but there should be that FOMO factor. It makes collecting fun, to be honest. It makes it fun, where when you get that grill, when you get that exclusive, there's an excitement that builds inside me, and I'm sure other collectors, when you get that grill of a figure, it's hype. And to see it kind of just where it's no longer rare, it kind of takes away kind of the elusiveness of it. And me and you have been collecting at Ross for a long time, and you've kind of helped me collect there. And one thing I noticed that like kind of opened my eyes too about it is you told me that you grabbed a DC Multiverse Demon Knight. You saw that figure.
Right, yeah.
And you picked it up and you said, wait, why am I getting this? And I think that right there is the essence of what's happening to a lot of collectors, where because it's $6, this sounds crazy, but because it's $6, it's actually devaluing the 6-inch collectible market. And I don't think it's just you. I think it's everybody saying that. Whereas when it's $25, in our mind now, that's worth the $25. But now that it's $6, now it's no longer worth $25, those figures.
That's true. That's true. And honestly, I do agree with you 100%. It's been crazy what's been happening with the exclusives and that FOMO, right? It feels good, honestly, like when you order something and you're able to get in and then it says sold out. Like that feeling of like, I got one and it's sold out is what we chase, honestly. Like it feels cool, it feels good, but that's not happening anymore.
Yeah. Like I bet if there wasn't so many figures hitting and you found that DC Multiverse Demon Knight for $6, you would have picked it up. But because there were so many other figures hitting, it's like, do you actually start to think about it and be like, I actually don't need this?
100%. I was like, I'd rather get an X-Men figure. I'd rather get like one of those Sentinels, the retro Sentinels, for the same price, right? Because I collect X-Men more. And why would I spend that money on this Demon Knight? Yeah, it's $6, but I can spend that same amount on something it's more closely related to me.
So it's really bad because I think it's going to change the value of these brands. And thinking back to, remember the funny story about Funko where they burned all their pops?
True.
Thinking back to, I was like, they're so dumb. Like they could have at least sold them.
Right. They had like this huge influx of like all this extra stock they had. And they just were like, we're not selling this. We're burning it.
But thinking back to it, honestly, it sounds really bad and kind of selfish, but that was the right move. Because sacrificing that product, even though it's a loss, saves more of your brand's image and value. Whereas Hasbro didn't do that. And I feel like their brand and value has went down in the eyes of the collecting community.
I agree with 100%. Yeah, because they burned it and didn't let it go into these like aftermarkets.
Outlet stores, exactly.
Outlets, right. They were able to hold on to that exclusivity, you might say it. But yeah, Hasbro did it, man. And it is nuts to see 5 Pudgy Pig lunchboxes on a shelf and be like, holy crap.
I don't even think that was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, but I actually think it was like some sort of convention or some sort of con exclusive as well. So that's the even crazier thing, that even what the low production number con exclusives are hitting, Ross, that's not right.
In bulk.
That's not right, you know?
Yeah. And honestly, this can be attributed to why Hasbro is cutting back on certain lines. As we like kind of stated before, Power Rangers Lightning Collection is no longer in action, right? They have effectively been canceled or been put on hiatus. They are not announcing the figures. They're not doing any live streams. They are on the back burner. They have been shelved for the immediate future. We don't know if they'll come back, right? But right now, there's no new Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures. I met a guy at Ross, coincidentally, who was talking about this and how he was so upset. Like, hey, there's collectors out there that collect those lines and have teams that they're looking to build and can no longer build that too. Like as a collector and your relationship with Hasbro, that changes when they collect or when they cancel a line on you. I can't imagine that feeling. I don't collect Power Rangers. I appreciate the property, but to be a collector and have that happen to you, like that's a gut punch, man. You've put all this time and money into it.
Exactly. You invested it. It's kind of like how I felt when McFarlane lost license to the Halo team, to the Halo license, and we never finished the ODS team. We never got Romeo. And it's incomplete to this day, and it hurts. Bad. Yeah,
it hurts as a collector, man. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's crazy. And Power Rangers could just be the first that they're canceling. There could be more lines that are coming down the line. I'm looking at you, Indiana Jones. I'm looking at you, Ghostbusters. I know you guys just had a fan stream, but nothing 6-inch, right? You guys, potentially, those collectors could be getting hurt in regards to future figures.
Yeah, it seemed like, the 6-inch hobby was always growing. Like Hasbro was always acquiring licenses.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the first time I feel like in the modern 6-inch era where they've actually cut a license, which is odd.
It is really weird. And we'll see what happens, honestly. Like, I don't think it's on ice forever, but for the foreseeable future, you are not. If you're a Power Rangers collector, you're not getting figures.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's sad for everybody.
The next thing is, recently I watched a YouTube video by Gem Collectibles. If you haven't, you can definitely go check it out. And he was talking about how, and he's a very big, massive quarter scale statues hobby collector.
Yeah.
And he did a video saying that even the statue hobby, he sees trends that hobby is also dying And it kind of, after I watched that video, it made me open my eyes and reflect on the 6-inch community. It's kind of where I put all these pieces together and was like, hey, John, something's going on. Like with all these things that we're seeing, maybe we're kind of in that same jar as the statue hobby. Like it's not just 6-inch. Maybe it's just collectibles in general are just not selling well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Talking about how people are cutting back. People are like, the value just isn't there anymore because, whatever it may be, for us, the 6-inch collectors, it's just heaps and heaps of these figures getting sent out to outlet stores, right? It's nuts, the amount of stuff that's been getting there and the diversity also of figures. It's not just like Hasbro. McFarlane toys have shown up, Transformers have shown up, like
even NECA, dude.
Even NECA has shown up, which is insane.
That's the first time I ever, like we didn't touch, but that's the first time I've seen NECA figures hit Ross. They don't ever hit Ross. Like NECA doesn't ever go on sale. NECA doesn't ever go to outlet stores. So that's a bad sign.
Right. To have those types of figures hitting an outlet store, hitting a discount store, surplus store is insane. And it's definitely something that we should be paying attention to. Just like Jim Mint is paying attention to his statue hobby. He kind of did like a poll on for his community. He was able to see like, yeah, people are on the same boat. He's also noticing those trends, and people are also confirming those trends for him, And with that, with less people buying figures, less people buying statues, that puts jobs at risks, right? Hasbro, we've confirmed, and they've reported through routers, of course, through different outlets, that they have been cutting back on jobs. I think it's almost up to like 11,000 jobs have been cut or something like that, or 1,100 jobs have been cut. Hasbro is understanding, hey, we're not pulling as much money as we have. We can't afford to pay all these people for these different lines. People have lost jobs because of this.
Yeah, and I also even think, with the new Wolverine 50th anniversary 2-packs, we're seeing that they're using kind of comic book art. And then maybe, like a lot of that art was new, but maybe they're now not outsourcing artists to create box art. Because they actually did a poll recently to just Hasbro Pulse, like collector, like members. And it was like, they did a poll, like, what's important to you? Is it the packaging? Is it the artwork? Is it the figure? Is it the accessories? Almost trying to see like where they could cut back. And one of the options was the artwork. Like that's on their radar where they know, like, because, and honestly, it doesn't affect the product. But they can save on ink. They can save on artist commissions for those art pieces. Yeah. And it's just somewhere they can save money. And so the fact that they're kind of getting more fiscally minded just kind of tells all.
Yeah, like they're in dire straits. Like they are trying to not necessarily cut corners, but cut back, right? They're trying to save money. They're trying to save as many jobs as they can because it is a team, and you don't want your coworkers to lose their job and you not. And it's scary, man. Like as an artist, as a sculptor, as a painter, you could potentially be on the chopping block because of the way these 6-inch figures are dying. Like we're seeing them more at Ross. Like Hasbro does not make that money back. As soon as it hits Ross, that money's gone, right? They make their money selling it to Target. Target loses money by selling it to Ross. Like it's just this trickle effect, right? Target doesn't want to buy more figures. They shorten their order numbers. It affects them.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to space. I honestly think they probably because a lot of the things we saw, there were some Target exclusives, where there were some like Walmart exclusives, but a lot of it was Hasbro Pulse exclusives. So that tells me it came straight from the Hasbro warehouse,
wherever that is.
Ross. They just could no longer, with how many new figures they're making, they could no longer hold that many because that's expensive to have all those warehouses and pay the rent on all those things.
Yeah,
and they just had to move them, and then also just space with collectors themselves. So like I said, kind of the 6-inch action figure kind of started to explode in 2013 when the Black Series line started. It just snowballed from there. There was just more and more license because Legends were always going on even before Black Series. Legends was Legends. But after it was Legends, then Black Series, then it was Transformers got a revival. Lightning collection, and then now Joe's and Fortnite and everything, Dungeons and Dragons, and it just exploded. And so you have to think, for anyone that's been collecting Black Series or Legends, they've probably been collecting for 10 plus years. And think about how many waves are released for especially Legends, how many figures are released every year. Right. People are just running out of space. It might not just be a money issue. I definitely feel it's a space issue where there's so many toy lines, there's so many cool toys like third parties and even like smaller companies like Mythic Legions, Aspiro Toys, that I'm just running out of room. And so it's like now figures, I can't display them and they have to get thrown in tubs. And I'm asking myself, like, why am I spending all this money and I can't even enjoy my collection? It's like my collection is owning me at this point. And I bet other collectors are feeling the same, where
for sure
sometimes less is more. And like, I feel like the situation I'm at right now, like, I definitely need to scale back and just conserve my space, because there's no space left after 10 years of collecting figures.
Right, 100%. Yeah, and I do like that you talked about kind of the space within a warehouse. Like, those Hasbro exclusives never hit retail, right? They never hit a retail store. So that's Hasbro losing money. Like, that is a direct effect on Hasbro losing money. And yeah, I agree with you, man. Collecting for 10 years, our boy Ray Paz here, we kind of set out a poll here. Ray commented saying, you know, he's looking back at cutting back on collecting. He loves the hobby, but it's gotten too far. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you guys that feel the same way.
That's exactly how I feel, dude. That's exactly how Ray feels. Like, I love it, but I do feel it's gone too far where it's kind of consumed my room, and it's like,
right,
I want to have space for other hobbies, my other interests, you know, like art and other things, where it's kind of no longer allowing me to do that because my collection's kind of consuming my space.
Right, it's hindering you in regards to what you can potentially do. That is interesting. I'm sure there's lots of collectors in that same position. So thank you to Ray and you, man, for sure. Space is always going to be affected, especially if you're an inbox collector. Like, I don't know how you guys do it.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible.
I don't know how you guys do it to be an inbox collector for 10 plus years. Like, I don't know. And honestly, Gem Mint talked about this, because within the statue community, there's also a lot of like reselling, and you have to resell it within the box. So like, Gem Mint has all those statues, but he also has all those boxes for those statues. And those are big. Those are big boxes, double boxes sometimes. So like, space is always going to be an issue.
Exactly. I throw away all my boxes for even like my imports, but for my hot toys, I don't throw away those boxes. I actually do have to keep those. Like Gem Mint said, maybe if I want to ever resell them, but also for if I ever move. Like, those hot toys are $250 figures. Like, I'm not risking putting
You're not
those
throwing them in a bin.
Yeah, those don't go in a bin. Those are going to go inside back in their box so that they don't get damaged, because those things are way expensive, right? And so, yeah, even 1/6 collectors have that same issue where you can throw away your boxes.
Sure. Yeah. And with that too, man, like, not only these are expensive toys, right? They can get up there, and we've actually slowly been seeing, honestly, like, not even slowly, it's been within the past 2 or 3 years. We've seen these big jumps in price increases. A Marvel Legends used to cost $20. And
every 6-inch, right? Every 6-inch was $20.
Right. And now we're talking about $25, $30, and you're not getting the best bang for your buck, right? Some figures are $25. Like, let's take a look at the Across the Spider-Verse figures. No Build-A-Figure, just a figure with maybe an extra set of hands or an extra head. Not a lot of extra stuff to it, right? That would indicate why the price is going up, right? It's literally the same figures that you would have gotten for $20, just that the fact that the price has now gone up to $25 for that figure, which to me hurts that value of that figure. That makes me want to buy it less, right? Yeah, if there's a bath, cool. Okay, I understand the cost. Oh, there's extra heads, there's extra hands, there's this effects piece. You know, yeah, okay, I'm more willing to spend that $25. But it's getting to a point where, like, how far do we let this go as collectors? How far do we let it keep going up before we either can't afford it or we just don't want to buy that anymore?
And exactly. I think collectors are at that breaking point, which is why we're seeing that wave of figures hit Ross. Because, like you said,
true.
In 3 years, it's gone up 25%, right? 25% increase, which is huge.
Yeah.
And not only that, but then now we're starting to see like exclusives retail for $27.99, right? That Moon Knight, that Spider-Man at Target, that Black Widow, those are $28. No BAF, not only no BAF, but straight up reissues.
Yeah. For wait, include shipping costs, you're looking at a $30 figure? No way.
Like
no way.
3 years ago, I got that same Moon Knight for $20 at Walgreens.
Easy.
Yeah, no, well, that wasn't easy, but I got it. It was Walgreens exclusive.
Yeah.
But
So like as collectors, like, our dollar is just more precious and the prices are going up on us. And yeah, that could be attributed to, different economical stuff, but it hurts, man. Like, and that's why we are seeing these figures show up at Ross because people can't afford to buy them.
Exactly. And yeah, just inflation kind of has hindered all of us. Because if you think about it, like, it's not just action figures that have gone up. It's like gas, it's food, it's insurance, it's your apartment, your house. And so it's like people have to be realistic. And, we can't always afford toys when everything's going up because of inflation, the hyperinflation that's going on right now, especially like with food. Food has gone crazy.
Yeah, like there's essentials that you have to buy before you buy your figures, right?
yeah, you got to live. So
yeah, it's crazy.
That's just kind of shrunk everybody's kind of extracurricular budgets. And with us as collectors, our budgets were for toys, and we no longer have those size of budgets.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That our dollar that used to go so far is not going anymore, as much as we wanted to, right? As much as we could, and I've talked about this before, but like we're not getting those stimulus checks, right? It hurts, and we saw that with the HasLab. But honestly, because of all these factors, man, because things are getting more expensive, you're running out of space, things are getting canceled. I've honestly kind of changed how I looked at my collecting. I've actually reflected back on that. And no, I'm not just talking about like New Year resolutions. I'm going to spend less on the action figures, or I'm going to spend more. No, like this was prior to that. Like I've kind of looked at my collection and been like, what can I display? What do I want to display? What is actually like going to bring me happiness? And that has caused me to like kind of change how I'm in collecting. It's caused me to pivot my collecting in regards to figures. And I've actually chosen to cut back, not just because it's like too expensive, but a lot of these figures I don't really have that passion for. G.I. Joe, amazing figures, love them, but not a G.I. Joe guy. Why am I collecting them, right? I'm kind of asking those questions because of these things that we've kind of been talking about. And I'm kind of been I want to focus more on X-Men and higher price, potentially Mythic Legions or third parties, man. Like I want a good quality figure to be part of my collection to where I can have more fun.
Yeah, I feel that quality over quantity. I wish I could pivot, but I'm a 6-inch crack addict. So I want to just pivot to where I just get imports, high quality stuff, and no longer collect DC Multiverse and Hasbro stuff. But man, if I find that for $6 at Ross, I can't resist it.
True, that is a different story, right? Sometimes it's just like, man, that buy-in is so low.
Yeah, you get. It's too good.
I feel that. Let us know down below in the comments, friends, if you guys are potentially pivoting your collection. I'm personally want to focus more on my X-Men collection and my Spider-Man collection. But let us know if you guys are kind of feeling the same way, or what you guys are seeing in regards to trends. This is just mine and Josh's experiences. I know there's so many more out there that have kind of been experiencing these 6-inch collector fatigue, maybe, or I don't know, man. It is. Yeah.
That's a really great point. I do think I feel some fatigue just collecting so long. There is some fatigue because of how many reissues and repaints there are.
Yeah,
there is that, especially if you're a diehard collector.
If you're deep in it, 10, 8, I'd even say 5+ years, like you've been in it for that long, you're gonna feel that, right? Yeah, as a new collector, there's that certain joy. I'm a school teacher, and so like it's kind of interesting to see kids like interact with action figures because I have them on display, and they've actually kind of been out looking for figures too at Ross. I always tell them like they're $6, dude. Like, why not?
Yeah. Parents can buy that for you. Easy.
Your parents can buy that for you, and so they've been out there, and like that joy that I've seen in them of like the hunt, the find, I got this one for this amount, right? It's pure and it is joyful, but as you get more into it, you lose that, right? I don't know if you can become, like nihilistic or whatever. I don't know if you become like desensitized to it, because you definitely still have those experiences, but it's just less,
It is. The more you have, that's what I'm saying. Less is more. The more figures I've come to own, the less I have time to play with each of them. The
True.
less I have time to enjoy them. And now it's just like, I don't even play with them. There's no time.
There's no time. There's so many figures. Not enough time.
Yeah.
Honestly, that actually takes us back to Gem Mint. Gem Mint was talking about the omnibus collecting hobby. And he was saying like how people are getting into it, but the people that have been into it, they just are buying up, their omnibuses. They're not even reading them. And honestly, like, where's that?
Because it's so
line?
Much.
It's a lot.
Like that will take honestly like a year to read on one omnibus. They're huge.
One omnibus, it's like collecting 60 plus issues, like it's a lot of reading you have to do. Yeah, it's comic books, but it's still a lot of reading. And if you're picking up 4 or 5, 2 a month, you can't keep up with that.
No.
And so what's the point of collecting if you're not getting that enjoyment out of it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let us know down below, friends, how you guys are feeling on regards to this. Honestly, we are seeing these trends where the 6-inch action figure collecting is hitting, I think, like kind of a Rubicon. This is the point of no return. Like either we let it happen and just not buy anything and let it all hit to Ross, or something else happens from the big boys. Hasbro, McFarlane, all those Mattel. I don't know what happens here.
Yeah, it's a scary time. It could, be a turning point. I think maybe we just need more excitement in properties, because I don't know, to be honest, also too, it could also have to do with just kind of the MCU and the Star Wars franchises not outputting the same quality of product that they used to.
Content, yeah.
Exactly. If you look at the MCU, man, like prior Endgame,
it was huge.
Everybody would be clamoring for those MCU figures. And now it's like people don't buy those MCU figures anymore.
Man, the Loki
people
figures.
Are more buying comic book figures, if anything.
Because that's honest. You know what? That's right. Because those MCU fans are fickle, right? They're fair weather fans. But comic book collectors, we've been in it since day one, dude. Right? They collect no matter what. They collect every issue. And as a comic book character, or as a comic book super action figure collector, you want all of those iterations of your heroes.
Yeah.
Right. MCU fans are like, yeah, it was a good movie. Oh,
yeah, like I'm on my third X-Men Jim Lee team already.
Exactly. From different companies. So I think that's true. I think it comes back to comic book fans. Those are the people that are in it. These MCU people, I agree with you, man. If the movie sucks, they're not picking it up.
Yeah, and the shows, they just also haven't been hitting. And
honestly,
and we haven't even got the Star Wars shows haven't been bad, but the hype's not there. Like I need a theatrical release, and we haven't had a theatrical release to get people excited about Star Wars, and that's just bad for merchandise, for collectibles.
It's bad for the brand, right? Like it kind of simmers them down a bit. Like Bad Batch, honestly, was a stellar show. But we got both versions of the team, and what else? They didn't give us any side characters. They didn't give us anything else. And I don't know if they have plans to do that, but you're just like, okay, I got the team, I'm good. Right?
Well, you just have to think they probably think that not many people have seen that show, so it's a risk, right? That's why we need movies.
But a movie
for the wider audience.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
For the normies.
Right. Yeah, if a wide release happens, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I love it, or I hate it. Right? I feel you. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, interesting here though, friends, but honestly, it is a scary trend of what we're seeing here. And whether this is the death of 6-inch action figure collecting or not, we're not here to say that. All we're here is just to provide you with the information that we've seen. We'll let you guys make that call. Okay.
I am going to scale back on Power Rangers Lightning Collection.
Well, I mean, you have to. Right?
They made that decision for me.
They literally said, you ain't getting no more.
I'm going to, technically, if you think about it, I'm going to scale back because I'm not going to buy Lightning Collection anymore.
Forced by the hand of Hasbro themselves. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to our Death of the 6-inch action figure collecting episode. If you guys enjoyed this content, of course, always a like and subscribe is always appreciated so you guys can stay up to date on all of our content. whether it be weekly toy news or these kind of deep dives into the toy collecting world. Again, we appreciate everything. Thank you for your support. As always, keep collecting, keep playing. May the action figure gods smile upon you. Peace.